Welcome back to Carbon Racing Series, Season 4. It's round 9 of the championship, and we're here at Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix. Don't know why I said it like that. So the Dutch Grand Prix, Zandvoort circuit, it's been through a few guises in its lifetime. This is its most recent, with a banked final turn and much shorter than it used to be. It's only 2.6 miles, about just over 4 kilometers, 14 turns and 2 DRS zones, but it's going to be a fairly difficult track to overtake on, as Dan Edwin found out last time out, racing against Tiamo Power in the McLaren. It took him a few corners, and whilst the first corner is definitely the best place to get ahead, well, it's not here anyway. Not at this part of the track, as Ivan found out going against Lennart, then driving for Aston Martin. And that was on the final lap of the Grand Prix as well. And I don't remember if he got past. No, indeed, he didn't. In the end, it was Lennart winning out on that battle. As always, white striped tyres are the hards, yellow striped tyres are the mediums, and the red striped tyres are the softs. And I reckon we're going to see a fair amount of medium tyres used around here. When it comes to the race, the driver's standings, it's Kane who currently leads his teammate Ivan by about 5 points. After, well, Ivan had a horrific race last time out. He had that horrible crash and found himself in second place of the championship. But in terms of the constructors, it's Red Bull who are running away with it, though Alfa Romeo have managed to catch up somewhat after a fairly decent result last time out. And so we are now going to move into the race, which should be getting underway, mostly. And there we go. We are, well, we're not going into the race, obviously. We're going into qualifying for this race. I believe we have at least 15 people taking part tonight. Oh, and there we go. I'm obviously a little bit late. We do indeed have 15 people taking part. And everyone will be starting, well, is going to be starting their qualifying laps here in Q1 on soft tyres. Pardon me. And it would appear that the first man out on track was Jaden here in the Alpine reserve driver. Unfortunately, we're having to use a lot of reserve drivers lately because not everyone has been able to take part. One of those drivers being ZR7 Hyper, currently replaced by It's Me Dion, who are not famous for a famous. Hang on, get word salad on my part. But yes, It's Me Dion is not renowned for a famous love song about a ship that sank. It got out eventually. Jaden here has a first man to start a flying lap will set the benchmark for Q1, but it doesn't really matter. You just need to set a lap time here and you'll go through into Q2 because we don't have enough drivers to be knocked out in Q1. So one lap is all you need to do. Oh, that's actually showing my not certain if that's necessary, so I'm just gonna briefly turn off the instant replay for the GeForce experience. There we go. Someone called Trissy has joined. I think they were in the race last week. Oh, we've had a spin. I think that's Rob. Might well be. Indeed it is. Jaden now sets the benchmark at a fairly decent 110.6. Luke GDI is on an outlap. Both of the Williams running the same number. That's not confusing. The two Red Bulls, meanwhile, well, Kane possibly had a bit of a slipstream at some point of the lap. He's leading Ivan by about one turn. And I think he's going to be providing the slipstream to Ivan, possibly. We'll see what his lap time's going to be. It doesn't look like it's going to be particularly good. And no, it's about 2 seconds off, 2.1. And Rob's had a horrific lap, as has Pookie. Few people seem to be making mistakes in the middle sector there. Oh, and I think, was that a spin? No, that might have just been Kane extending the track limits. Pardon me, I had a big lunch, or dinner, so I'm feeling a bit uncomfortable. Ben Dixon went second. He's about almost 4/10 off of Jaden. So who's next? Well, Luke GDI goes 3 thousandths faster than Jaden. So he's managed to prove that he's got some decent pace. Affery will be on an outlap, on a flying lap next even. And then it will be Rob who comes across the line next. He's got a much tidier lap in. Should be a lot more representative. And he does improve into the 1:11. He just needed to go 7/10 faster and he would have had a very satisfying lap time of a 1:11.111. Instead, we've had to contend with a 1:11.118, whilst Ivan goes almost exactly 5/10 faster than Rob, and 5 thousandths behind Jaden. It's Dion has also done a 1:28 here. This track would appear to be catching people out. And Hanges, Formula Cringe going slowly. We've had another spin, I think, possibly. I think it was Jaden who had a mistake. Affery coming around now. He hasn't invalidated it at all. Opens the DRS down the main straight. It's not going to be a good time, but it's enough to get him into P7. A 1:13.705. That's more or less exactly a second behind Kane, who's not had the greatest lap time. And Rob makes a very sudden decision to pull into the pits. Ivan also coming into the pits. I believe Jaden might be as well. Not Jade. Yes, Jaden. Hanges and Trissy on outlaps. Formula Cringe has done a 1:21. Trissy, Hanges, It's Dion is actually done 3/10 slower. So he's been caught out as well. No, in fact, he was just in an in-lap, I reckon. Formula Cringe, 2 seconds faster. He opens the DRS. He's cutting very close to the inside line. And does improve to a 1:11. Much more representative lap time. Meanwhile, Affery has elected to pit. Leonard, the Season 1 champion. His teammate is the reigning Season 3 champion. Both driving for the same team, which, given the rivalry they had, well, actually, they weren't really even on the same page, if I'm honest. They never seemed to be within touching distance during Season 3, which is probably why they're teammates. Leonard apparently still on an outlap, so things are being a bit weird, unless he's had an invalidation somewhere. And we've had a spin that's Hanges. He's spun at turn 13. I'm gonna sneeze. I think. Ah. Okay, sneeze aborted. It just felt like I was gonna sneeze. uh, uh, 11. This is turn 10. Goes into the second DRS zone. Potentially issues for Trissy. Is that Trissy? Might be. It is Trissy. They've also done a 1 minute 11.4. Then it's round turn 13 now, and onto the banked turn 14. Opens the DRS down towards the start-finish line and goes fastest by... Ooh, not by much, if I'm honest. About 300ths of a second. Very, very close. And just might go for another attempt. Affery's on an outlap. Very fitting helmet as well. And Hanges is definitely going to be pulling into the pits here. Affery, though, will not be. He's going for another flying lap attempt. But there's not really a point. He's going to get through anyway. Or maybe, actually, no, we have, there was Ryan Kennedy, who I didn't see before, and someone called Koningbert has joined, so we might actually lose someone, but there was definitely 15 at one point. Unless it's just the game being weird again. It likes to do that. Currently, Faco and this Koningbert person haven't left the pits. I'm going to take a brief look at the Discord and see if this is one of our reservists or if it's a random who somehow got in. I'm not entirely certain. I think this should be Magusta, who's got a different name. It should be Magusta. Anyway, Luke GDI has gone a 10th quicker through Sector 1 in the Williams. If only the Williams was still this fast. Or, you know, that fast in real life. And there's been a spin for... It's me, Dion. Spun at the rather tricky turn 8, I think that was. The one that Nicholas Latifi crashed at. After clipping the grass, as you might remember. Luke GDI didn't catch his Sector 2 time, but it looks like he's going to improve. And he does, by 0.2 of a second. Almost 3. 2.5 tenths, we'll say. And Leonard has professed that this isn't his best track. But to be second fastest in Q1 so far, it's not bad. Cyberpunk, I ought to install that at some point. Oh, strange. Strange behaviour for car number 16. Yeah, apparently it's Charles Leclerc, so this is a late joining. Affery did improve. They were at a 113, then, or 112. Yeah, 113, and now they've done a 111.1. Going for another attempt, slightly up. Oh, that was a bit of a wobble. That, though, given how calmly they're driving, I would say that this is that it was probably just a bit of a lag spike or something. Bird has been disqualified makes me think that they're probably not actually meant to be here. I don't think that is actually Megusta. Ooh, this is getting a bit janky. What on earth is going on? Bird is Bradley. Well, I mean, I think. Given that I can't even select Ryan Kennedy, I think he has somehow been knocked out. Oh, Faco's coming out now. So Bird is the Bradley who won the Spain round last season. He was around in the last season a lot, if it's the same Bradley I'm thinking of. Hang on. I've forgotten to do something. Performance mode on the streaming software. It doesn't seem to have made too much of an impact, but ooh. So Faco coming out for what will certainly be his one and only flying lap. In the, what's it called? The outlap at the minute. Potential issues for Luke GDI. Did disappear for a moment. Faco rounding turn 3. Was that turn 3? Is it technically considered 4? I think in real life they called it turn 3, so I'm going to call it turn 3. 24.6 through sector 1. Enters turn 8 and 9. One of the more evil sectors of this track. Comes on turn 10. Make sure you don't touch the curb on the inside or you'll be pirouetting. DRS opens for the second straight across the second sector line. That's 49.1 through 11 and 12. Bit of a wobble as the traction doesn't want to get onto the road or whatever. Very close to what's the word? Invalidating the lap. 110.501. That's 800ths better than Leonard. If Luke GDI can keep up this pace, it could be Luke taking pole today. But we shall have to see. As everyone starts retiring in preparation for Q2. Yeah, given that Ryan Kennedy has not come out at all, he's somehow being knocked out in some fashion. So that's going to be at least two. I reckon at least two drivers knocked out of Q1. Ryan Kennedy and Koning. I can't even. Well, Bradley is his name. Apparently, didn't even get a results screen for that. I don't think. Game being weird. Wouldn't be Codemasters otherwise. Yeah, it just goes straight into Q2. Doesn't bother giving us any information that I'd like to know. How they who's being knocked out, if anyone at all. Ryan has not been knocked out. In fact, he's right there. He just probably couldn't even get out to do a lap. That's weird. Very, very, very weird. In fact, it may... No, that's an Alpine. That's probably Jaden again. And Aston Martin is not coming out. It's the other Alpine. There's a Red Bull coming. Ooh, there's a bit of a laggy Haas. Painted in colours of a country that everybody hates at the minute. And yes, that was Jaden who's come out. And he's come out on the mediums. In fact, a lot of people going on the mediums. Trying to get the alternate strategy in. Trying to pull a Pookie, I imagine. And Jaden being... playing the tactical move. Waiting for other people to go ahead. Not certain why, though. It's not really much of an advantage. So that means it will be Rob who will set the benchmark. It could be that Jaden was waiting for his teammate Trissy to go by, so he could get a bit of a slipstream. Rob goes a bit onto the grass. Doesn't hurt him too much. There's an Alfa Romeo's coming out. That might be Lennart. Or it might be Faco. And Luke has had a bit of a disconnection again. So Rob heading up the twisty bits. Not so twisty like the twisty bits in Suzuka, which are technically called the S's. And yeah, turn 7, really not a nice corner. You've got to lift off quite a bit. I have been able to go around it quite quickly in the past, but it's not an easy turn. And Rob definitely does not seem to be having the best of times around here. Going into turn 11, clips a lot of the inside curb. Doesn't really get a lot of understeer through 12 though. But yeah, it just doesn't sound like he's really pushing the car that much. Still, it's going to be a 1:11. Once again, a lap that's almost satisfying. 1:11.114. Jaden goes about a tenth and a half slower. Hangis, meanwhile, can only manage. That's quite a bit slower. Kane, 1:10.2, immediately beaten by Ivan with a 1:10.1. Ben Dixon will be next in the AlphaTauri. DRS wide open, cutting pretty close to the inside sector of the track. Only manages a 1:11.3. I believe it was Faco in that lap. Ryan Kennedy manages to get his first lap in of the night, 1:11.146. Possibly looks like a spin for Affery, as that's me, Dion, who's also started a lap. Just something has gone wrong for Affery. He's having to take another out lap. Warm-up lap. Lennox, meanwhile, has done a much faster second sector, but is only enough for a 1 minute 11.09. Luke has managed to rejoin. And currently, it's the Red Bulls leading the way. Behind the two Red Bulls, it's the Alfa Romeo of Faco. And I think the Red Bulls might actually be on soft tyres. Yes, indeed they are. Everyone else is on medium tyres, hence the difference in pace. Faco, 7... Yes, it is 7/10 of a second behind Kane. So obviously the two Red Bulls wanting to start on the softer, faster tyre. Will that... will it pay off? Afri has managed to hook up a much better lap on this occasion, but it's still... Yeah, a 1:28 that's not representative, so he's had issues somewhere else in the lap. Unless this... Actually, this may well have been his second outlap. He's had a bit of a wobble on turn 2, going into turn 3. He's got a bit of oversteer as well. Bit of a tank slapper. And he's backed off again. Medium tyres not wanting to cooperate with the Aston Martin. Luke GDI has managed to go slightly faster than Faco. And definitely looking like he could be the favourite for pole today. Who will be next across the line? It's gonna be Medion. He's done 3 laps on those soft tyres, and he's gonna have to go on something else if he wants to really improve. On board with Pookie now, who returns to the series after a 2-week break or so. Into Tarzan relatively slowly. The mediums, not the fastest tyre around here, and it's definitely showing. The car's not really the happiest around here. It looks like some people are going to be trying their luck on the soft tyres. Rob, Ryan, and Jaden have switched to softs, but they're still in the pits. Ben Dixon is on an outlap on the softs, as is Trissy. Pookie and Formula Cringe, meanwhile, they're on the mediums and trying to qualify in the mediums. Across the line for Cringe, he just about gets into P10, into the top 10, but it's not enough at the minute. Pookie going around the final pair of corners, nicely inside the lines. Opens the DRS on the main straight. And across the line, it's a 1 minute 11.0, and that's a good enough lap for him to enact his favoured... Oh, what's it called? Strategy. Alternate strategy. Afri also improves to 400th behind Pookie, so that's the lap he's been looking for all this time. Chrissy on the soft tyres, coming through the second sector now. And there's been, late joiner, because apparently he's Esteban Ocon. Car number 31, wearing no helmet, just a balaclava. At least it's not pulling what it did with Han just a few months back, where he didn't even have the balaclava. It was just a floating face. He goes off the track, manages to keep the lap. It's not going to be a good lap, though. A 111.4 on the soft tyres. Ben Dixon has done a 111.0 on the soft tyres, which is 9/10 slower than Ivan has managed. Pookie possibly going to go for another lap attempt, having used a bit of its fuel. Indeed he is. He's got the DRS open. He's going for another attempt. No, he dives into the pits. So he's decided, you know what? Maybe not on this occasion. There's an Alfa Romeo coming out again. And that's Leonard coming out on the medium tyres again, trying to improve. Well, the two Red Bulls have decided this time is enough for them, and it may well be. Ben Dixon, meanwhile, has improved by 1¼ seconds. No, 1¼ tenths even. Across the line, and he goes third fastest. 2 tenths faster than Luke GDI. Next, it's gonna be, it's me, Dion. We just call him Dion. On a flying lap now, on the soft tyres. Got Rob on an out lap, as is Leonard. Rob on the softs, trying to improve that 1:11. He is at risk. A few more improved times down the board could put Rob into the danger zone. That was Afri also coming out on the soft tyres. Not happy with that 1:11.0. Ben Dixon will probably be coming in, and he has it validated anyway. Jaden has gone 2.5 tenths faster through Sector 2. On the medium tyres as well, so it is a worthy improvement. Well, should get him out of the danger zone. Indeed it does. He manages to go P4. Just ahead of Luke GDI, however, so it's not that impressive of a jump. And Dion is starting his lap, or has just started it. Rob, meanwhile, will be ending his. He's gone 2.5 tenths quicker, and now he goes at P3. Just a couple of hundredths ahead of Ben Dixon's time. Next, it's Leonard, and he improves to P3 on the mediums. So things working out for Leonard here. Whilst Pookie is probably going to have to try his luck on the softs. Things are getting a bit chaotic now. Not certain who I should be watching. Dion, 2.5 tenths up through Sector 2. He's got a bit of company ahead in the form of, I believe that's Trissy. Oh, a bit of a wobble. And I think he's run out of energy. So this time might not actually be that good. It is an improvement, but not by much. He has run out of energy. He doesn't have a lot of time to get it all back. Meanwhile, behind, we've got Afri passing Leonard on the outside. I'm not certain. Oh, it goes wide and invalidates. So that's not gone well. And he's going to be pulling into the pits. He is in real danger. No, he's going again. He might have the time to go for another attempt. Cringe going for another attempt as well, as is Trissy. Got Faco on an outlap. As Leonard retires. Pookie gonna actually try and go faster on the medium tyres, so he knows that these tyres have pace. But he will only get one shot at this. Dion also probably going to go for another attempt, but he doesn't have any battery left. And that doesn't... It looks like he doesn't have it. Nope, he has no battery, so he can't go for another attempt. That's Dion knocked out. Pookie, meanwhile, will be trying to improve his time on these medium tyres. Afri in the danger zone, but he's obviously not going to improve on this lap. Ryan Kennedy goes P3, 2/10 slower than Ryan, pushes his teammate out of contention at the moment. Formula Cringe, 7.5 tenths faster, goes P4. That pushes Pookie into the danger zone now. Afri might have time to start a lap here. And maybe, but we've got a yellow flag that's blocking my vision. Faco is actually in the danger zone, and he's actually not had a very good sector 2. We could be losing Faco on this lap. And yeah, Faco's out. He's in frustration. He crashes into the wall. Pookie has actually improved his lap a little bit. Will it be enough? It is. It gets him into P8. Luke GDI now under threat. But he's gone 5.5 tenths faster on this lap so far through Sector 2. And this should see Luke catapulting up the order somewhat. And he's going to come into the pits. He thinks he's safe. But this could be Trissy playing a bit of an upset here. But he's going quite slowly. Afri has gone 2.5 tenths faster through Sector 2. We could see Afri into the top 10. And indeed we do. Goes into the top 10 as Trissy pulls into the pits. He's knocked out. So there's only one car actually driven by a human at the minute, and that is Formula Cringe, and he's going to be coming into the pits. So the car's knocked out. Hanges, Dion, Trissy, Luke, and the shock of the session, it's Faco, who has been knocked out in Q2 after just not getting a good enough lap in on the soft tyres. He's not had a very good time there. Something went horribly wrong for the reigning champion. He will start the Grand Prix from 13th. Not the position you want to be in. You ran out of fuel, but you still got into the top 10. That was close. Goes to show that you had a very good lap under your belt. So, Ivan and Kane lead that session, but is that how things are going to be for qualifying 3? Well, they will have potentially... In fact, no, they won't even have Luke GZI to contend with. Someone who was looking like the favourite for pole, and now they've only got really Leonard and Pookie who could realistically challenge here. This is looking quite likely to be a Red Bull pole here. But you never know, Leonard could pull something out of the bag on one of his less favourite tracks. Or it could be Pookie. Ten drivers all fighting for that coveted pole position. Got Rob in the Williams. He has appeared to have improved quite a bit. But then again, he did get his fastest lap time on soft tyres. Was enough to get him into the top 10. Both of the Red Bulls, it's Ivan who's the first man out on track. Oh dear, pardon me. The Red Bull just... Yeah, the shade of blue or whatever they're using on the Red Bull in this game, it's just not dark enough. It should be more of a... Oh, I don't know, sort of an almost black blue or blue-black. Not this, which is sort of navy. Dark navy. It's not right. Apparently it's the same deal with the Mercedes, which is probably a bit too light. But, it's already difficult to see things on the Mercedes anyway. I remember back in March 2021 when they said, oh yeah, we realised that our numbers are very hard to see, so we're going to sort that out. And they never did anything. The numbers remained that hard to see the entire time. So, you know, that's great. One car has not left the pits, that's Ben Dixon. He probably doesn't have the tyres to play with. Ivan, meanwhile, will be more than likely setting the benchmark here, unless something goes wrong. Going through the windy bits, and much better through turn 7 than we saw from Rob a few minutes ago. Do this rather tough section, very demanding track. Oh, and a bit of a tank slapper on the exit. Loss of traction, sent the car almost sideways. But looking a lot more planted for the most part. Turn 13, oh, very, very close to invalidating that. Opens the DRS for the run down to the start-finish line. The benchmark is a 110.2. That's very close to what he managed in Q2. Just a little bit slower. Afri will be next. Also comes very close to invalidating, but doesn't. Heading down towards the line, can only manage a 110.722, 200ths slower than Jaden, and Kane about 400ths behind his teammate Ivan. So looking very decent for the Red Bulls at the minute. Leonard, though, heading towards the line now. He's had a monster second sector, but he can still only manage P3. Still only 1.5 hundredths behind. How much is that? That's 13 thousandths behind Kane. Cringe, slowest man so far, 111.1. So not a great lap from Cringe. Pookie has invalidated, so Ben Dixon, only man who doesn't have a valid time on the board, and he's not had a very good turn there. He went onto the grass and he's backed off. Saving the energy. I'm trying to save the fuel as well, I would imagine. To go for another attempt. And now the energy's going again. A bit of a wobble though. Very close to losing it. Doesn't though. And we'll get a time on the board. Not a bad time. Well, it would have not been a bad time anyway if it was Q1. But could have been a lot worse. Meanwhile, it's Ryan Kennedy actually got a decent lap in. That's almost exactly a 10th slower than Leonard, so Ryan could be on for an upset here. Also, the upset would be Pookie not getting a lap time in, but he's going out again, probably onto fresh softs or the same set of softs. And yeah, he's going on fresh softs. So he might have enough tyres to play with. In fact, I would imagine he does have enough tyres to play with, as he didn't go out on the softs at all in Q2. Ben Dixon has gone 5/10ths faster in Sector 2 than his previous best, and manages P8. Still 1/10th off of Rob. So he'll probably want to get it back into the pits as soon as he can and bolt on a new set of tyres. Jaden also going for another fastest lap attempt. Flying lap. Oh, goes onto the grass. That's not good, and immediately backs off. And there we go. The Pookie now starting his flying lap. Should be his first lap, but he goes onto the... Oh, that's not what you want to do. He touched the curb on the inside and immediately spins. You really don't want to do that. So Pookie is probably going to have to come into the pits again. And that's really a mistake you don't want to make. Question is, does he have enough fuel to play with? Jaden coming into the pits, as is Ben Dixon. Ryan Kennan, not Ryan, that's Affery. He was on an outlap, but he's coming into the pits. Rob on an outlap, also coming into the pits. Possibly gone onto the wrong tyres, I'm not certain there. Pookie, meanwhile, sector 2, yeah, 1 second, 1 minute. And is he gonna go again? Well, he's not. He's using energy. He's not blinking on the rear end, so he's going for another attempt. DRS wide open. Starts his lap now with the unrepresentative 122. Do not touch that inside curb. He's going to be fairly cautious, I imagine. And I think Leonard's had a game crash. Going through turn 3 for Pookie. Bit of running on the grass there, but no harm done. Don't run too much over that curb on the inside. Fairly nice through turn 7. Stayed in 7th gear as well. That's very close to invalidation. Don't know how he didn't lose the lap time there. Opens the DRS. Down towards turn 11. Doesn't take too much curb on the inside, so it doesn't unsettle him. I think Faco possibly had a game crash as well, because he started playing as well. What's going on here? Pookie, however, going around the final corner, hugging the inside walls to set. Whoa! 110.1. Pookie on for the upset here. And Ivan and Kane, well, Ivan has come out for an outlap. Kane, however, still in the pits. And we've got a few people out on outlaps. We've got Rob, Affery, Jaden, and Ryan. However, Jaden's outlap is now a flying lap. And we'll have to see what the Alpine can do. Of course, Alpine, powered by Renault, who evidently support war criminals. Alpine, anyway, on the windy sections, and Kane has come out for a, what's it called, an outlap now. Plenty of time to get around the track. And I think Cringe has had a spin, but it's fine. He had it early. Ooh, So Jaden toned down the second straight, now the back straight, I suppose you could call this. And he is slightly up in Sector 2, but it's not amazing, and it gets a bit of understeer through turn 12. Going into turn 13, and once again, looks like understeer, and he invalidates at the death. Does he have enough battery to play with? He's gonna go again, I think. Affery has a bit of... Oh, Rob is retired. Rob had a crash. There we go. So Rob will start at best... He will start at best P8. Who's going to be next? Affery has not improved. Or was that Ryan? Ryan has improved, however. He's just ahead of Ivan. But Ivan's coming around now, and he's actually gone 0.2 faster. He might get into the 110.0s here. And Cringe starts his flying lap as well, as Ivan crosses the line now and does, in fact, it goes into the 109s. An incredible lap from Ivan. That puts him into provisional pole. Jaden's 4 seconds down. He will not be improving. Afri has improved a little bit through Sector 1. Heading down towards Sector 2 now. What's his time going to be? He's a tenth faster than his previous best. But it's at this sort of pace, it's not going to be enough. Kane, meanwhile, I've not seen... Oh. Steam apparently went down. But Kane, well, Afri has improved, but it's only enough to keep in P7. And Kane goes into the 109s. He's 6/10 faster than Ivan. He takes provisional pole. Leonard also goes into the 109s, but he cannot go faster than Ivan or Kane. And Formula Cringe cannot improve either. So it's going to be Kane on pole by 0.06 of a second. Incredible. I don't see 109s coming. I thought the best we would be able to manage was 110s. But that was pretty good. Oh, I don't want that. Right. That might help. Nope. Not the Xbox thing. So it's Kane who will start in pole position. Ivan in P2. It's a Red Bull front row. Leonard P3. Pookie P4. Ryan P5. Jaden P6. Afri P7. Ben Dixon P8. Rob P9. And Formula Cringe starts in a lowly P10. Hang on. We might... Oh, migrating host. Lobby restart. So we're going to be restarting the lobby. Yeah, people are leaving, so we're gonna have a... I need to talk to Lynette. Yeah, Lynette's in the main menu, so not gone well for... We're having technical difficulties again. Yeah, so there we go. Everyone's left. Second time in a week that there's been technical difficulties. We had technical difficulties last time out. I had technical difficulties on Thursday as well with the fail race crew. That was fun. Can't they just fix these issues? Please? Please? That's all we want. Just some fixes, please. Right, I guess I got to wait until I get re-invited again. I could just press join game here, though, so... Oh. Never mind, Pookie's invited me. Right. Yeah, I'm here now. You don't need to invite me again. No, I don't want to be. Say it in caps lock. Then it's like speak moron speak. Get Avery too. Hmm. Right. Let's bring up the stream on the phone again. Yeah. Just missing Avery. What are you vibrating about, you stupid phone? Oh, it is Ulrich von Houten. Okay, whatever. There we go. There's Avery. Probably wondering where everyone was. So, hopefully we'll have the grid as it should be. We didn't get the first. It didn't really matter. No one really got knocked out of Q1, did they? It was just Bradley. Hmm. We should be having a custom grid for obvious reasons. We didn't go through qualifying for nothing, after all. Yep, there we go. So, the necessary results should be available for whoever set up the lobby. I think it was, yep, for Linnet to set up. And it's time to ready up. Yeah, bought too much food. And got a takeaway. And I've got too much food. So I'm full. And this. It's. What. The one thing that's left is going to be cold now. Though it doesn't really matter anyway, because they messed it up anyway. I ordered. They've got this. I ordered from McDonald's. I ordered this special chicken burger that they've got going. This home style chicken burger. They send it to me in a box that says home style chicken burger on top. I open it. What's inside? A beef burger. If I wanted beef, I'd buy a Big Mac. You bloody morons. I mean, how do you mess that up? Unless it wasn't messed up and they thought I wouldn't notice. Like, I thought it was burnt, but no, it's beef. I want my money back. I didn't buy a beef burger, I bought a chicken burger. Like, how do you mess that up? Oh, God. I'm probably gonna eat it anyway, because waste not, want not, even though it's gonna be cold and miserable, but... This is just despicable. How do you... like, it's not really something you can do. It's really something you've got to be careful about, because I have actually been doing a food safety course recently, and it's so important to give a customer what they order, because if you give them something that they didn't order, there's a chance that they'll be allergic to it, and you could be in trouble. And like, imagine if I was allergic to beef and I thought, oh, it's just burnt chicken, and still ate it. I would be in so much trouble. Anyway, enough about how McDonald's got my order wrong. We're here for the formation lap, and it looks like Han just got away slowly. There's no Bradley to be seen. I'll turn off the telemetry as well, because it looks a bit funky. Takes up a lot of the screen. So, Kane leading the field away, ahead of teammate Ivan Hafterkamp. Then it's Leonard in the Alfa Romeo. Then Pookie in the Mercedes. Who else, by the way, is excited that Mercedes are suddenly not like the best car anymore? That's just something that needed to happen like 5 years ago. Anyway, enough about real life. We are about to witness the start of a race that might be quite boring for all we know. Come on. There we go. It's 5 lights on, lights out, and away we go. And it's a fairly standard start. It's gonna be Ivan diving up the inside a little bit. No, he's gonna have to hold off for now. It's been very tame start. No issues down the field by the looks of things. Well, though we might have some issues into turn 3, doesn't look like it. And I think that's Rob. He's lost a lot of time already. The two Williams very close to one another. And there's also a Mercedes not doing well. I think that, in fact, yeah, it's Dion. Or it's me, Dion. Trying to be a, what's it called? Mario or something. Position changes. Rob only down 2 positions. So he only managed 9th place in Q3. He's lost 2 positions. Few people have got up 1 position, including the other Mercedes of Pookie. He's got past Leonard into the podium positions. Jaden also up 1, as is Ben Dixon, Formula Cringe, Luke, GDI, and Faco all up 1 position. Leonard, Ryan, Affery, Trissy, and now Dion down 1 position, and Rob, the only person down 2 positions, and Kane pulling away a little bit. Though I think Pookie has a 1 second gap to Ivan, and the two Red Bulls just seem to be pulling away. We've had a possible spin. Yeah, that's Dion, I think. Bit of a... In fact, it may have actually been Hangis. And the two Red Bulls definitely just running away here. If only this was how it was in the real Dutch Grand Prix. If only Checo was there. But anyway... So Pookie... Oh, and Dion had a spin again. Or maybe he didn't have a spin the first time. But yeah, got a yellow flag from Dion. And it's Pookie now, under threat from Leonard out. And of course, I tell you why the Red Bulls are pulling away. They're on the soft tyres. They are obviously trying to create an incredible gap to Pookie behind so that they can, I guess, overcut in the end. And Pookie, Leonard have started on the mediums. Let's take a look at their tyres, if we can. Yeah. Kane, Ivan, and Ryan, only members in the top 5 who started on the soft tyres. Pookie and Leonard on the mediums, but they have a much more pace than Ryan. We've got another yellow flag. That's Hangis, who spun on the exit of turn 3. No damage though, and the Red Bulls not pulling as far ahead as they probably would like. Pookie, though, is falling behind gradually, but the medium tyres will likely come into their own further on into the Grand Prix. In fact, they certainly should come into their own. And Ryan, to his credit, has managed to catch up to Leonard. He must have had a bit of a wonky sector at some point. But yeah, this track has already caught up 2 drivers, and we're certainly going to see more. There's a bit of an overtaking going on down the line. It's Ben Dixon trying to use the DRS on Jaden. He has to hold off for now. And he won't get another chance, but he is on the soft tyres. Jaden is on the mediums. And he's going to be really racy and feeling like that Jaden is a rolling roadblock. Is a bit of wobbling further back. That was Affery. He says his setup might not be particularly good, and it has paid, well, it's not done well for him. Devil's advocate? And that's not the word I'm looking for. There's been another spin. That's Hangis again at turn 3. He's done it before, though. And Ben Dixon gets the DRS again, but crucially, so does Jaden. And that may have been why Jaden was able to defend last time. And Pookie has lost another 5/10 since I last checked. It could be under threat from Leonard. Indeed, Leonard does it. The DRS is not using the energy. This is just pure DRS, and he gets past Pookie like he's in a completely different class of car. Jaden holds on yet again. He's close enough to Ryan, but who knows how long he can hold on. Of course, Ryan does have to contend with the slower cars ahead. He isn't the faster tyre, but as time goes on, these tyres will be falling off somewhat. And further back, it looks like Luke GDI was hitting a bit racy with Formula Cringe. Not really the place you want to overtake in, though. We learned that last time, where I think it was Hyper going side by side with Colin Hogenberg. And that didn't end well for Hyper. But yes, fun enough, it's Luke who's on medium tyres trying to get past Cringe. There's a bit of a DRS train, however, so Cringe will survive for now. And the two Williams running 2 by 2. One after the other. Faco still in P12. And yeah, it's just this track. It's very hard to overtake here. So it's a bit of a DRS train. No one able to make any moves, and I think Leonard has actually managed to catch up somewhat. In fact, yes, he has. He's caught up 5/10 to Ivan, and it could be that Kane is slowing Ivan down. whether that's intentional or not, I've no idea. Let's bring up the telemetry again. And yes, both of the Red Bulls have used up almost all of their battery, whilst Lennart has not. Which is probably why the Red Bulls are struggling so much, why they're losing so much time. Lennart has the energy to play with. This could be a poor strategy call from the Red Bulls. It's not being very tactical of them. And of course the tyres will probably be wearing out a bit now. Possibly. I didn't see when the projected pit stop window was, but Lennart getting closer. Though he's not had the best exit there. He's actually lost a couple of tenths. He's not been using the energy on the straight though. Whereas the Red Bulls may well have been. And going through turn 3, it's looked like Affery has lost touch to Ben Dixon. Oh, there's lots of raciness from Luke. He's trying to get past Formula Cringe. But this isn't where you want to go. He goes into the grass. He has to back off. Very racy from the Williams. He's desperate to get past. And this could be the mediums starting to switch on and the softs switching off. And you can see that Luke has a much tighter line through turn 10. But it doesn't appear to have paid off for him on this occasion. He lost a bit of time. But he's still able to keep pace. And Cringe might be able to get past Affery here. And Lennart was briefly inside of a second. Formula Cringe is now going for the overtake on Affery. It's going to be a double overtake. Affery will lose 2 positions in the space of a single straight. And Cringe goes deep. But he's able to hold on to P8 now. So the soft tyres still got a bit of life in them. And the top 6 have now reverted to their original starting positions. But crucially, Lennart is getting a lot closer to the top 2. The Red Bulls definitely getting slower. Their initial pace has all but vanished, and now they are definitely under threat. And so Kane, he went a lot over the inside of the curb there. That could potentially cost him a lot of time. But yes, Kane finds himself the proverbial locomotive in the DRS train. And he still doesn't have a lot of energy to play with. Whereas Lennart has more than 60% and Pookie about 30%. And Lennart just closing the gap. And this is got to be very smart energy usage. And the Red Bulls so desperate to pull away that they used up all of their energy. And it's evidently very difficult to regain that energy, to build it up. And Luke, meanwhile, has finally managed to get past Formula Cringe. I didn't see that. Didn't catch that on track. But he did get past in the end. Must have been into the final corner, with the first corner even. The gaps at the top are closing. Further down, it will be Luke now who leads a DRS train of his own and will potentially put him at risk from Cringe, who still has a bit of a life in his tyres, but he's got to contend with the dirty air as well. Bit of a raciness from Affery and Rob, but with the DRS they're not going anywhere fast, and Rob going a little bit deep. But not under threat from Faco. And Lennart is within 2/10 of Ivan, so he could make a move into turn 11. He's certainly got the pace that Ivan... Well, Ivan definitely had the qualifying pace, but Leonard has the race pace today. And he'll be on the softer tyres later on. So this alternate strategy looks like to be the best strategy here. And the two Red Bulls probably wishing they went for the same strategy as well. Going wide through 12. Ivan will have the DRS on Kane, but he won't have the energy. Well, here's a fair amount of energy. So he's going to try and get past Kane, I think. And indeed, he's using up his energy, and he's going to go past Kane. And Kane's going to have to try and defend from Leonard, who goes up the inside. And that's Leonard briefly up into P2. Is he going to keep the position? Indeed, he is. Leonard. Oh, but he's being forced around the outside. And Kane is still holding on to the inside. But I don't think he has the battery to play with. Indeed, he's got the blinking red light of doom. And he has to settle for P3. He did his best, but he's used up too much of his energy too early. And now it's Ivan who's under threat. He still has a fair amount of energy, but not quite as much as Leonard. And Kane now under threat from Pookie. So, the Red Bulls have finally relinquished one of the top two positions, and Leonard now trying to make his way up into P1. Don't go too much onto the grass though. And he's using his energy fairly early on. He's going to have the DRS. Ivan not using the energy to defend. He doesn't need to on this occasion. Though Ivan was getting closer. That's not Ivan, Leonard. And there's a bit of raciness. That's Faco. I think he's just got past Rob. There may have been a couple of pit stops as well from Afri. Or Afri had a spin. I think Afri spun as well as Handjus again. And Faco is finally up into the points. Leonard still within half a second of Ivan. And I can't see how Ivan could hold on to the position for much longer. So one of these cars may dive into the pits any moment now. You can see the power of the DRS. He was visibly gaining on Ivan there. And he's just got so much energy to play with. Ivan, though, has to his credit, regained some of it. I can't remember the right word. Harvested, but it won't be enough. Even though he is dumping it now, he's going to defend the inside. There's a bit of contact. It's not much, but I can't see him maintaining the lead. In fact, he does. He uses a lot of his energy to maintain that lead, and Leonard's going to have to hold off for now, and that could potentially put Leonard under threat from Kane, but Kane hasn't been harvesting his energy the same way. You probably can't afford to. And the Red Bull sandwich could be detrimental to Leonard here. The longer he stays behind these drivers, we've got a spin. That's Dion who's had a crash. He didn't have a proper crash though. He just crashed and decided, no, I'm done. And yes, this track will catch people out. It is a very evil. And Ivan not pulling away. And I think this is the lap is the writing on the wall. And there you go. Leonard has the DRS. He used the slipstream and he breezes past, but Ivan has the inside again. He's defending like a lion. The Dutch Lion versus the other Dutch Lion, but in the end, his defense was just not quite valiant enough. And Leonard finally has the ability to stretch his legs, but Ivan is fighting back. Is he going to go for the inside? No, you can't fight through turn 7, and he's going to have to hold off for now. It's still a good position to be in. But the Red Bull's now under threat from Pookie in the Mercedes, who's also going to be quite racy. I reckon that these soft tyres are done. Even with the aid of the DRS, it's not going to be enough. They just don't have the grip that Lennett's Alfa Romeo does. Though Lennett is now the leading car in the DRS train. But Ivan doesn't have the energy to play with. Some cars are now pulling into the pits. Ryan Kennedy pulls into the pits for fresh mediums. That promotes Faco up into 8th place. Cringe is also pitting. So Ivan still within half a second of Lennett. But he's got to try and hold on. And also try and support Kane in any way he can. Kane, though, under threat from Pookie, is trying to take a look. Definitely has much better traction than the Red Bull, who doesn't have the energy to play with. His lights are flashing. Just doesn't have the energy. Pookie doesn't have much more, but at least Pookie isn't on the threshold of 0%. And neither of the Red Bulls can fight. Kane now is pulling into the pits. And Kane gets a penalty for speeding. A bit too much speed, my friend. So that's going to hurt him in the long run. So that leaves Ivan just ahead of Pookie, but he just doesn't have the energy. Doesn't have the energy to play with. He might still be able to stay ahead of Pookie, just about. Never mind. He's losing time through the corners. I don't think he's going to be able to hold on to the 1 second barrier. The 1 second margin that would be required to keep Pookie outside of the DRS detection zone. And Ivan is now losing a whole chunk of time. He's got to come into the pits. And now that his teammate has pit, I reckon Ivan will be next. And there we go. He's pulling into the pits now. Whereas Kane, he's going through turn 12 right now. Didn't get a penalty for speeding, so that's good. He'll re-enter the race. Not certain where, but I believe behind Kane. If Ryan Kennedy now sets the fastest lap of the race at 1:12.0. And yeah, the undercut here would appear to be quite good. Almost went over the right line. Yeah, undercut quite powerful here. Oh, we've had a spin. Affery at the final corner. Doesn't appear to have picked up any damage. So Lennett now leads from Pookie. We've had the first car being lapped as well, in the form of Hangis, who makes way for Pookie. So how much further will Lennett and Pookie go? Or will they just want to keep the status quo somewhat? Well, not pitting yet. Still got life in these tyres, but the undercut will certainly be quite powerful. And they may have already lost the margins. In fact, we can look at the leader time. And indeed, Ivan, both the Red Bulls are within the pit stop time. So the undercut, for now, has worked. But they will pit later and get a much better time. Kane is spun! Kane is spun! He must have clipped the inside curb, so he has to do all that work again. That's the mistake we saw Pookie make in qualifying. You do not want to touch that inside curb. It will spin you. And Leonard now under threat from DRS attack by Pookie. Briefly outside of the margin. Sector 1, that's Affery spinning. And Pookie is within the DRS. He's used up all of his energy trying to catch up though, and Leonard expertly using his energy. He's still got plenty to play with. Ivan now behind Trissy and Ryan. He's gonna try and get past Trissy, defending like a lion. Squeeze Ryan. Oh, there's contact as well. Trissy doesn't want to be doing that. Oh, could be some damage to the Red Bull. Don't see any visual damage though. And it's just a bit too defensive. You don't want to squeeze your opponents. So Ivan losing a bit of time behind Trissy here, who I think... No, yeah, Trissy hasn't pit yet. So definitely going slowly. That's a very bold move. I would have waited. I know he's impatient, but you really don't want to do that. And that's cost Ivan time. So he's lost time now through Sector 2. He was 1.5 seconds slower than his previous best. But he'll get the DRS now. That just goes to show how slow Trissy is. Trissy's might defend. No. He's not going to defend much. And a bit of sympathetic contact. So now Ivan will be able to make some headway again. And try and make some progress up the field. And he's already within 19 seconds of Leonard. Meanwhile, speaking of a gap to Leonard, Pookie is very close to half a second behind Leonard. But Leonard still has the energy to play with. Pookie is going to have to still rely on DRS if he wants to try and get past the Alfa Romeo. And there's been a spin. That's Affery again. It's not finding the penultimate corner very enjoyable. Yeah, even without the energy to play with, Pookie is still 10 miles an hour faster than Leonard. As Affery retires. Down the field, we've got Ben Dixon making a move. He's got the DRS. Doesn't quite have the energy to play with. He's going to have to hold off. And Trissy defending. Moving under braking as well, I think. That's not something you want to do. In fact, not something you really should be doing. So, some defending that you really shouldn't be doing. And Leonard showing his frustrations by going onto the grass. Trissy reasonably slow. And defending a bit too much. Speaking of defending, Jaden defending from Luke GDI, who has a lot more energy. It's sort of the reverse situation of the lead battle, where instead of the chasing car having never mind. Oh, and there we go. Jaden pulls into the pits. The first of the Alpines gives Luke a bit of a slingshot, but he hasn't made a pit stop yet. Trissy has to lose this position now. He's defending. Oh, he's squeezing him into the wall. And he's still defending. So Trissy really defending way too much. And he somehow got away without damage. And now he's being a bit of a pain in the ass for Kane. And Trissy, oh, he's all over the road. Ooh, this is very difficult to judge. Kane, of course, still has a penalty, and Kane is making a move, barging past the Alpine, showing him how much his contributions to this race are appreciated. But that's now put him under threat from Jaden, who's on fresh, soft tyres. So Kane doesn't have the pace to answer. Oh, and Trissy spun Kane! This is the second time in a week! I mean, the last time, it was an accident. He just lost it on the curb. But this time, he just went straight into the side. Trissy, and now he pits. Trissy has ruined the race of Kane again. Pookie has also pit. He's gone on to hard tyres. What? And Leonard has also pit now, and he's right behind Ivan. He's on the soft tyres. So Ivan did get the undercut, but he's now on the slower tyres, and Leonard will be flying again. But Ryan will be giving Ivan a bit of a slipstream and the DRS. And Leonard has to hold off for now, but he's visibly faster. And now there's only two drivers who haven't pit, Hangis and Faco. Faco is a few seconds up the road. And he's going again, and Ivan doesn't have the... Ooh, it's very, very close. Both drivers have the DRS, but Leonard has the inside line and the softer, fresher rubber. There's a bit of contact. Side by side through the first couple of turns. It's Ivan who's got the inside line, and he's going to be able to hold on for now. No, the traction of the soft tyres was enough for Leonard. That line, outside line, was good enough. That's all he needed. Sorry, I had the menu up all the time. I was distracted by the battle, and so Leonard gets past Ivan easily. And there's been another spin. It was Formula Cringe this time in the other Haas, and he's lost all of his time. So that's gone rather rottenly for Formula Cringe. So Faco losing the time now. He's still in those mediums he started the race on, and now he comes into the pits. Ryan stopped a few laps ago. He's under threat from Leonard. And Leonard gets past. Not quite yet. But now he does it on the exit of Tarzan, and with the traction, with no sign of a certain Yari Fitz, Leonard is now pulling away, and he should be able to pull away by a fair amount here. And this is looking like it's going to be Leonard's first race win of the season. Oh, I thought he was going to go pull a Nicholas Latifi there. Possibly a bit of a lag going on though. So things gone badly wrong for Kane, the pole sitter, saying someone's gone off. Rob has spun, he's pulled a Nicholas Latifi. So Rob finds himself in the lowly position of P10 and under threat from Trissy and Formula Cringe. Ivan has the DRS on Ryan Kennedy. Leonard sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:11.4, as Ivan breezes past Ryan Kennedy now. I think Ryan's tyres are a bit older than Ivan's. So Ivan gonna hope that Ryan provides enough of a roadblock to Pookie now, as he's in prime position to retake the lead of the championship as it stands, unless something goes horribly, horribly wrong. I'm going to take a brief look at the race director, see when Ryan pit. It's not telling me, because why would it? I think it was lap 15, so quite a while ago. Ivan on much fresher rubber. It won't be enough to really catch up to Leonard or overtake. But maybe the hope is that Leonard's tyres will start to fall off. Oh, bit of a wobble. You don't really want that. And Ryan, to his credit, is managing to keep up. And he just doesn't have a lot of energy to play with. Ryan does, but he's not using it. I think this is damage control for Ryan, who would probably like to get past Ivan. Oh, another bit of a wobble from Ivan. Possibly got some very warm, as in hot, tyres. Down the field, we've got Trissy gonna make a move on Rob. And Rob doesn't have the energy to play with. Oh, and someone... Oh, and Trissy was going up the inside of Rob there. And I don't know if that was Trissy being adventurous or Rob being oblivious. But it's not paid off for Trissy there, and he loses out. Ryan managing to maintain his position, but Leonard's just pulling further and further away. Oops, don't want to do that. So Ivan doesn't have any DRS to use, and he doesn't have a lot of energy to play with. And Ryan obviously does, but the straight just isn't long enough. And I think Ivan needs to try and save up a bit more. This is currently the closest battle on the field. Ivan, when did Ivan pit? Lap 17. So his tyres are 2 laps fresher than Ivan's. Ooh. Don't bonk the headphones. Bet we can see that. Yes. Indeed, 10-lap-old tyres versus 12-lap-olds. And Pookie on the fresh hards, just not able to make the same moves. They're probably about as good as these worn mediums are. To Ryan's credit, he is actually closing the gap somewhat. Then again, he does have the DRS. And a bit more energy to play with. Ivan is having to use a lot more to try and stay ahead. Pookie picks up a penalty. So as it stands, Pookie is going to finish a best of P5. Though that's going to turn into P4 anyway, because Luke, on his fresh softs, has lost a bit of time. But he should be a lot faster than Pookie on these hard tyres. The only man on hard tyres. We've had another spin. I think that's Hangis again. Oh, and his tyres are cooked. Yep, Zandvoort strikes again. Oh, and there's been another incident. Is that Trissy? Yeah, Trissy's gone off. He's staying put. What are you doing? Go. Get this man out. Look, I understand spinning, but Trissy has just sabotaged the race. His car was evidently able to drive, and he just decided not to go, and he's called out a safety car. Get this man out of this league. That's uncalled for. So everyone's able to pit now, and this is going to muddle up the order. It's going to allow some people to be able to catch up. Kane is going to be able to serve his penalty and not really lose any time. Well, much time anyway. He's got to wait 5 seconds. He might lose a position to Rob. But Rob has a penalty as well, so... And Rob's coming in anyway, so... So now, all of a sudden, it's an Alfa Romeo 1-2. And Faco on not so fresh, soft tyres, so he might lose out to Faker here. It sort of leveled the playing field somewhat, but really, this is Trissy's doing. This is Trissy deciding, you know what, I'm going to call out a safety car. I'm just speechless. Apparently damage is off, which is why we've not had any damage-related retirements. So that would appear to have been an oversight on Leonard's part. We'll just take a look at that. Lobby options. Damage should be on, where the hell is it? Oops, yep, car damage is off. Leonard! So Trissy was absolutely able to keep going because his car wasn't exploded. He didn't explode, so he could keep going. There is no damage. Oh, and Luke picks up a penalty for what was more than likely a rubbish penalty, and Luke actually retires. What? So something's gone on with Luke. I'm not certain what. We only got 5 or so laps of this race to go. Leonard still leads the way. Was that someone going off? I could swear someone just went off the track in a straight line. Possibly some lag going on. Just gotta wait for 2 people to catch up. Trissy, the person who instigated the safety car, and Formula Cringe. And Angis, who has been lapped at least once, won't be allowed to overtake because Codemasters is somehow unable to code that. But with any luck, yeah, safety car in this lap. He decided that these 2 cars are close enough. And Rob gets a 5-second penalty for ignoring a yellow flag when the entire course is yellow. So, okay. Oh, what's going on there? Rob goes off the track and he pushes Cringe off as well, I think. No, that's Hangis. Okay, so Leonard will lead the field away. Faco, I don't think he'll be able to hold on to this position as his tyres are a bit older. Ryan Kennedy trying to pull a Max Verstappen. In fact, he's ahead of Ivan briefly there. So the field gets away, and Ryan was getting way too racy on the restart. He dives up the inside of Ivan. Who's going to be able to hold on? I think it's going to be Ryan. But there's contact and a bit of argy-bargy going on. It's hard to tell who's going to be leading this. A bit more argy-bargy, and there's going to be Ryan on the inside, and he's going to have the advantage here. I don't think Ivan will be happy with that because that's a bit naughty. I think that's Rob who's gone round in Sector 2. And now Ivan has to try and get past. He gets a tank slapper though. A snap of oversteer. And Faco, who's on the older soft tyres, is now providing a bit of a buffer to Leonard, who's able to pull away again. And this is almost certainly going to be a victory for Leonard. Unless something goes wrong for Leonard, of course. We won't get DRS for another lap. Ryan's used up all of his energy trying to get past people. He's driving up the inside of Faco. Makes contact, though. Getting fairly dirty. I think he just ran out of deployment. That's all that happened. So Faco, 1.5 seconds. So Leonard's going to win this race. And Ryan playing
some rather games with the other drivers. So Ryan might be on for P2 here, potentially, depending on if the FIA wants to do anything. Although Ryan goes wide, he's spinning off, almost spinning off, and he loses out. And Kane now gets up into P5, and it's all gone wrong for Ryan. This allows Faco to, not Faco, Ivan to try and get it past Faco now. Try and get up into P2. A position he's gonna be desperate to get. But he doesn't have many laps to do it. He's using all of his ERS. Well, most of it anyway. DRS is enabled for this lap, but we won't get it until the beginning, well, the middle of this lap anyway. The second sector. And Faco just losing so much time on these much older soft tyres. This could be a bit of a strategy call with a safety car. Faco on for a good result after starting so far down. We've got a yellow that's, I think that's Rob. It must be, because he's pulling into the pits. Gets a 5-second penalty as well, so Rob might be about to retire. Faco very close to being overtaken. When that's been, there's a Haas gone round that might be Formula Cringe, but it won't matter too much for Cringe as there's plenty of space to Rob behind. Ooh, bit of a slide from Ivan. And he'll be desperate to try and get past Faco. He's using up a lot of his energy. He's got the DRS now. But he's used up perhaps too much. Is he going to go up the inside? No, he's going to have to try and go around the outside of Faco, who's defending very hard. And Rob gets another 5-second penalty for driving a bit poorly. Oh, that was very close. I thought that was a bit of a diffuser bump there. Won't matter. There's damages off, but it could have easily spun Faco, who's going a bit wonky. There's still 1.5 laps to go. Leonard is definitely going to win, barring the exceptional. And Faco holding on like a lion. And of course, this is the fault of this track. It is so difficult to overtake. Ivan having to use so much of his energy trying to get past, whilst Faco still holding on to it. And Ivan might be just using it in the wrong places. Oh, that wasn't they got a bit of a wobble. He has absolutely zero ERS to play with. He's used all the energy in the wrong places. Now he has to defend from Pookie. Pookie senses blood in the water as Ivan's lights are flashing. He's used up too much of his energy. He's got to try and get past the Alfa Romeo, who is defending like it's his life on the line. He's got no energy left either. It's going to be neck and neck, but it may have been enough for Pookie. Faco even. I keep saying the names wrong, I reckon. And Ivan, but Pookie has a bit more energy than Ivan does, but not enough. I think Ivan is doing everything he can, but he's just not able to get past. We've got a yellow flag. I think that's Cringe. Leonard, meanwhile, comes around the final corner to take his first victory of the season. He slows down enough to get the gap down to a second. He almost got overtaken by Faco, who does manage to hold on to P2. An exceptional comeback for Faco. This puts both of the Alfa Romeo drivers back into contention, I reckon, as they both catch up on the Red Bulls, who do still manage to finish P3 and P4. Ivan manages to close the gap at the top to 2 points. What a race, though, towards the end. The safety car did help to mix things up a bit. Ivan and Kane will have to settle for second rung. As Faco, exceptional defending. Utterly exceptional.
Don't mash the microphone.
Leonard, though, takes his first victory of the season. It's been a long wait for the Season 1 champion. Such a really long wait. And I reckon driver of the day is going to be Faker.
As far as the game is concerned.
Yeah, there we go. Started P13.
Finishes P2. But that was because of the safety car. That was instigated by Prix, which was just not exceptional. Yeah.
Prix being incredibly reckless. So, Lennart wins. Faco, his teammate, shares the podium. It's a Alfa Romeo 1-2. It's a Red Bull 3-4 with Ivan just ahead of Kane. Pookie, with that 3-second penalty, will finish P8 in the end. Ryan Kennedy finishes P5 after that simply egregious error at turn 10. Ben Dixon P6, Jaden P7, Prissy finishes P9, and Cringe gets points in the Haas. Rob 11th, Hanges 12th, Luke GDI finishes P13, Afri 14th, and Dion finishes dead last, having retired sometime earlier in the Grand Prix. Right, so that was the race. And next week, where are we going next week? I don't care about this thread thing. Go away. Where are we meant to be going? I can't remember. Race calendar. We will be going to Italy next week for the 30th of March. If you thought Netherlands was bad, just wait until Italy. The Temple of Speed awaits. So yes, thank you very much for watching, everyone. And we'll catch you next week. Thank you, and until next time, good night.